talk weather. It is Tuesday evening, and this is weather for Weather Geeks. A little sleep-deprived today, that is for sure, as I had to spend most of the night here babysitting the radar last night. Of course, we had a pretty elevated severe weather risk, but thankfully for our TV viewing area, the storms kept on missing us. We had a close shave not once, not twice, but 3 times last evening. Now, the first batch was pretty far to our south, but the second batch and the third batch just missed our television viewing area to the west. These storms had big impacts from Toledo to Mansfield to the Canton area, down towards Dover, New Philly, Zanesville, Cambridge, Wheeling, heading down towards Parkersburg, Marietta, and Athens as well. But the train tracks, if you will, just kind of lined up, 50, 75 miles west of our TV viewing area. So we had some thundery rains at times, but no severe thunderstorms in our TV viewing area. But look at all the storm reports, the damage reports, encompassing most of Ohio over the last 24 hours. Northeast Ohio was spared, Northwest PA as well. But again, yeah, pretty close call. Now, it was one of those situations where, we talked a lot about, hey, it's severe weather, this is a big risk. We put out a lot of videos, a lot of information, and then it didn't happen, and that may lead some to think, well, that was overhyped, and these guys are always hyping it up and stuff like that. But it was definitely a circumstance in which we needed to play this up, because there was the chance that these storms, instead of being 75 miles to our west, were right over the heart of our TV viewing area, and we would have been in a world of hurt from a power outage standpoint and a tree damage standpoint, as nearby as New Philly, Dover, heading over towards parts of Carroll County, even parts of Jefferson County. We had some reports of wind damage, mostly trees, and some power outage issues as well. But again, close shave, but we got through unscathed last night. Boy, some impressive numbers across central Ohio today. When you factor in the temperature and the dew point, Columbus, Ohio, 113-degree heat index at 7 o'clock in the evening. There's been rolling blackouts in central Ohio this afternoon because of the strain on the energy grid. I looked it up, and the record highest heat index, I believe, for Columbus is 117. Looks like the highest recorded today was 115, and that's unofficial, but near a record high heat index value in Columbus today. Look at the dew point. I mean, this is just crazy. 83-degree dew point recorded at the airport in Columbus, the John Glenn Airport. I would have to look that up. That may be a record dew point temperature for that site. 74 in Cincinnati. Our dew point locally is creeping up as well. Now, we're not quite in the Caribbean zone just yet, but we'll be there for a lot of the day coming up for tomorrow. All right, so no surprise with things unfolding the way they will. A heat advisory has been issued for our TV viewing area, all of far eastern Ohio, western PA as well, and then, yeah, no surprise as well, it becomes an excessive heat warning. Not far to our west, this includes Dover, New Philly, Cambridge, heading over towards Columbus, and all of western and southern Ohio, and an excessive heat warning through the day tomorrow. In our region, and we're including all of Ohio and Pennsylvania in this, typically the National Weather Service will issue a heat advisory when the heat index is expected to be around triple digits, around 100. An excessive heat warning is typically issued when you get up to that kind of 105 range, especially if it's going to be more than a couple of hours. So that, we kind of expect to be, we're going to be pushing on excessive heat warning criteria here with the numbers that we do expect around here tomorrow. But it's easily heat advisory criteria for us, and it's going to be one of those situations where you just got to take care of all the usual suspects: the young, the old, the immunocompromised, anyone who doesn't have air conditioning, and of course the 4-foots as well. If you have an outdoor pet, an animal that spends most of its time outdoors, got to take care of them on a day like tomorrow. Extra water, plenty of shade. Bring them inside if that's a possibility. Now, I understand in some circumstances that's not always real feasible, but you got to take care of the 4-foots, and if you're going to be taking a dog on a walk tomorrow, stay on the grass, because in the sun, on a day like tomorrow, the concrete can be 130 degrees. The asphalt can be pushing 140 or so. If it's too hot for your hand to touch, it's too hot for their paws. That is for sure. So here's a look at the latest model numbers for heat index values tomorrow. Pushing 100 to 102. I think that's going to be pretty common. Could we get to 105 briefly? I can't rule that out. Now, unofficial thermometers across the region where they may be not properly sighted, they may have calmer winds than properly sighted sites. You could see some pretty crazy numbers tomorrow in an unofficial backyard weather sensor. You could have a temperature of 96 or 97 and a heat index of 113 tomorrow, but you got to keep in mind that those kind of home weather stations, while they are great, and I've got a couple of them, they tend to read a little bit too hot on really hot days because a lot of times they don't catch as much airflow around them. If they're not properly sighted and not in an enclosure that reflects sunlight away from it, they can read really crazy hot. That's why on a day like tomorrow, bank thermometers and even car thermometers, especially if it's a somewhat older car, they can read crazy high. I've noticed, some of the newer cars, last 5 years, the thermometers they're housing in these cars, they're actually pretty good. I have no complaints about my car thermometer. I've got a 2020 vehicle, and it's usually, pretty close to reality, that is for sure. All right, we have a mostly dry forecast tonight. I'm not going to be able to rule out a stray shower late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Warm front's still lazily hanging out nearby, and I can't rule out that a little bit of convection fires along that late tonight tomorrow morning. There's even a small chance of a rumble of thunder in the mix as well. But this is going to be one of those things that 5 or 10% of the area should see. The rest of us won't have to worry about that. The heat is on then for the afternoon tomorrow. Now towards the end of the day, with a little atmospheric disturbance, could, especially in western PA, there be a renegade shower or storm towards the end of the afternoon, early in the evening. Again, it's a small chance, but it's a chance. A place like Jamestown, New York, Bradford, PA, maybe as far west as the I-79 corridor. Those are the places that have the best chance of some sort of renegade shower or storm towards the end of the day. Everyone has a higher risk of showers and storms, though, on Thursday. This is a pretty strong cold front heading our way, and pretty good ingredients for scattered, strong to severe thunderstorms. So now this will be at a much more typical time of the day than last night's threat. This is coming during the heat of the day. Before the front gets here, we'll probably push into the lower 90s. So the atmosphere will be very unstable on Thursday. Plenty of warm air, plenty of humidity. There's going to be a good amount of wind shear above our heads, and I'd be concerned about some severe weather across our region somewhere on Thursday. Secondary cold front on Friday. So ahead of this secondary cold front, it'll be less humid on Friday, but still pretty warm. But behind that second front, then the cooler air certainly gets settled in time for the weekend. The day 3 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for Thursday does have us outlined in the 2 on that 1 to 5 scale, slight risk of severe weather across our area. Could this be upgraded to an enhanced? Maybe. I guess I would doubt it on day 2, but maybe on day 1, when we get to Thursday morning, when it becomes more obvious how things will transpire, maybe. But it's still a day, no matter what the risk level is. We got to pay attention to the weather for a few hours Thursday afternoon. So I have 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. as our most likely window. Wind damage, no surprise, the number one threat. I think there could be some hailers, pretty good ingredients for hail on Thursday. I'm not real concerned about flooding because this probably won't last long in any one location. I don't expect a lot of repeat action. Isolated tornadic activity, also something that we're going to have to watch out for, I think, with a good amount of wind shear. Wow, what a change. Heat index, triple digits tomorrow. Actual temperature by Saturday, 72. It's going to be another weekend that's not going to be great for the pool unless it's heated, but just beautiful this weekend. Father's Day is Sunday. I think we're going to be in great shape with a good deal of sun. But look what happens to the temperature early next week. Now, our official forecast right now for next Tuesday is 89. Here's some raw model data off the European model, which is probably too hot, but it does, maybe show the extreme end of the possibilities for a week from today on Tuesday. It has us getting into the mid-90s. Now, as I mentioned last evening, we haven't been above 94 in 10 years. It's been since 2012 since we've had a temperature of 95 or higher officially at the airport. Right now, our forecast for Tuesday is 89, but we're 7 days out. And this is just one run of one model, but the potential is there for a couple of pretty hot days again during the middle of next week. But just like this week's hot weather only lasting a couple of days, I think next week will be kind of the same. It's not like we're going to see a week of this. We're going to see a couple of days, and then I think we'll probably start to trend cooler again towards the end of next week. Thank you for checking out Weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday evening. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll talk more about the heat, of course, Thursday storm threat, and we'll talk a little bit more about the longer range. I'll see you then. Have a great rest of your night.